All right, well, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Alertus Power Lunch Winter 2026 features and seamless server upgrades. My name is Brooke Petrozelli, and I'm a training specialist here at Alertus. And this session will highlight new features available with the Winter 2026 release and walk through the Alertus server upgrade process so you can start taking advantage of these new features and improvements. Today, we are joined by Sarah Gillum, another training specialist here, who will be taking us through some of the new features in this upgrade, and Brian Sr., a technical support analyst too, who will be demonstrating the server upgrade process. So, two important notes before we dive in. If you are currently running a server version before version 5.21.16, which came out in winter 2024, so that is 2 years ago, a multi-step upgrade is required due to updates with MySQL. So for any multi-step upgrades, Alertus strongly recommends working with the Alertus support team to perform the update, and we'll be sure to put the booking link in the chat. So if you do have a server version that is more than 2 years old, please work with us to do that multi-step upgrade. If you have a server version that is newer than 2 years old, 2 years old or newer, then you are able to follow the steps that Brian is going to take us through today. In addition, another important note, Bing Maps has been deprecated by Microsoft, or has been deprecated by us and is no longer supported. So a timely upgrade is especially important for customers who utilize mapping features in their Alertus console. So the Winter 2026 release will automatically upgrade customers to OpenStreetMap on all of their pages where they utilize maps. So definitely recommend updating that if you utilize the mapping capabilities within the system. So as always, this is an interactive session, so please feel free to put any questions in the Q&A feature. And also please be aware that this session is being recorded for training purposes. So without further introduction, I'll pass it over to Sarah to start us off with some new features.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you, Brooke. I will go ahead and share my screen so we can take a look at my Alertus console here that I have already upgraded to the newest version. And if you did join the release webinar that we had yesterday, we went over a lot of these new features during that presentation, but I just wanted to take a moment to highlight where you can find some of those within the Alertus console itself. So I'm just going to log in here as my admin account. And right when you do log in after completing your update, you will get this banner here popping up that'll list out all of the new features. And there is also a link here that you can go to the update notes to get a more detailed list of all the new additions. But I'm going to go ahead and close this. And I did want to start by showing you some updates that we have made to our AlertAware custom activation alert services. So now if you go to Configure System and open up your Alert Services page, and you take a look at any of your AlertAware custom activation alert services or any of your AlertAware custom activation LDAP alert services, you'll notice now that there is a new field here called Hide Confirmation Button. So if that was set to yes, then your AlertAware alerts would no longer have that orange confirmation button, so your recipients would not be able to confirm that they've read it, which can be helpful to turn off if you know that you are not monitoring those confirmations. And if you do already have existing AlertAware Custom or AlertAware Custom LDAP alert services, by default, this will be set to no, so the confirmation button will still show up, but you can come in to edit any of those if you did want to turn it off. And then I did next want to take a look at some of our new alert display layouts. So if you all are using the alert display and you come to the alert display page in the Alertus console, if you come down to add a new idle layout, which is what the alert display can show when there are no active alerts. Now there are two new templates that can be connected to a Google Calendar, the calendar day and calendar next events. If you did select the calendar day, here is where you'll put in the calendar ID and the Google API key for your public Google Calendar. And once you've done this, it will not show this error. It'll show the events on your Google Calendar for whatever day you have specified with this day offset. So you'll leave it at 0 for today. You could set it to 1 to show the events for tomorrow, and so on. And then you can also customize the appearance with these settings here. And then similarly, we do also have another calendar layout, the calendar next events, where instead of showing events for a specific day, you're able to show an event count of however many new upcoming events you want to show. So by default, it'll be set to show the next 6 events, but you could update that field to be however many future events you'd like to show. And then nextly, I did want to go into a couple of updates for the HPSA or high-powered speaker array systems. So now under Configure System, if you go into this HPSA systems page and you are going to edit your CCU or multiple CCUs, then you'll see this new priority field for each of your CCUs that you can edit from here. Number 1 would be the highest priority, and you can set all the way down to number 10 with the lowest priority. And essentially, the server will try to connect to the CCU that you've designated as the highest priority first, so that can help your system maintain the most reliable communication. And also for our HPSA systems, if you come to the alert devices page and you are editing one of your CCUs on this page, when you go into the advanced settings, now you'll notice that there is not just 1 and 2, but there is now an aux input 3. So we have repurposed a door switch to now function as a third panic button input. So that gives you the ability to connect a new panic button device and a new configuration to an existing CCU. And then lastly in the console here, I did want to take a quick look at some updates to the locations page. The main update with this release is that if you are creating a new location or editing a new location, you will now be able to see, if I scroll down here, there is a new optional floor field where you can designate a specific floor level in a building. So I could create a location specifically for building 1, floor 1, and then I could assign devices to this location if they are on floor 1. And because multiple buildings or one building might have multiple floors, it might be helpful to create multiple locations so that you can specify each floor of that building. And then that will allow for some more accurate and more specific location assignments for your devices. And then the last new feature I did want to highlight quickly is actually on a slide here. I wanted to quickly point out a change that we have made to the Alertus middleware settings. We've added a new property in the middleware settings called Wi-Fi panic.autoupdate.configuration.enabled. And essentially, when this property is set to true, then that enables Wi-Fi panic buttons to automatically receive firmware updates being sent from the Alertus gateway. So you can use that property to determine if you want your Wi-Fi panic buttons to receive those firmware updates or not. Most often, we would recommend that you are receiving updates, but if you are a customer that is utilizing custom firmware, you might not want to receive updates automatically. So that might be a use case where you'd want to set that to false. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back over to Brian so that he can walk through the server upgrade process with us.
All right, I'm going to get my screen shared there. All right, everybody can see this all right. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do when upgrading is, of course, download the upgrade. You're just going to go to help.alertus.com. Then you're going to go to support downloads and then software downloads. Then you're going to look for Alertus Server. Go over to the related field. And then look for Alertus Server with the winter 2026 upgrade right there. Now to save time, I have already downloaded this zip file and unzipped it into a Alertus install folder that I have here on my desktop, you want to make sure that you have the Alertus install files and your Alertus installation on the same drive. So they're both on C for me here. So the next thing that we're going to do now that we have it downloaded is we are going to make a backup. And that is by going to the Start menu and then find your Alertus Technologies LLC. And then you're going to run a backup or restore server configuration, and you're going to want to run that as an administrator. And I'm just going to go ahead and give this a backup name. I'm going to give it today's date, 2026-0206, and then press the backup button. Now, I do want to recommend that before doing an upgrade, it would be best to take a VM snapshot of your server. That way, if there are any problems with your backup or your installation, you can always just revert directly to your VM snapshot. Next thing I'm going to want to do here, like I said, I already unzipped this. So I'm going to go into this folder, and I am going to run as an administrator. And it's going to take a minute or two to spin up. As you can see here in the background, I am running my Alertus server. And if you go down here to the bottom left-hand corner, you can see that I'm on an older version, 5.24.17. That would be from our previous release. Okay. It is a pretty simple install process. Once you run the setup.exe as an administrator, this will pop up, and then you just want to go ahead and hit next, 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 and install. Be sure to only hit the install button one time because we will see quite a few command prompts open, and we don't want two installations to happen at once. And we are basically just going to let this run. One other quick note as this is running, you do want to be sure to talk to your stakeholders about your Alertus system, and there will be downtime during the upgrade. So please be sure to communicate that out to everybody. And now we're just going to kind of wait for this to run through. And another quick note is that it is best to disable any antivirus or endpoint protection you may have on your server. We have run into some problems with antivirus running in the past, not too many, but it's just best practice to disable if possible.
While we are watching this run through, please feel free once again to put questions in the Q&A and we can answer them either by texting or like responding in the chat. There was already a question around the server version that determines this quick upgrade that Brian is showing or the multi-step upgrade. So once again, that is 5.21.16 from winter 2024. So if you're on that version or newer, then you're good to follow what Brian has. And if there are any other questions, please feel free once again to put them in the chat. The first question, Brian, for you, do you need to stop the Alertus service before updating?
You do not. We have a script that is going to stop things for you. So you can just go ahead and run it. and everything will start and stop automatically.
Great, thank you.
This is some very exciting stuff, I know.
And just to confirm, you're not doing anything, right? You're just sitting there watching this go.
Yep, I clicked install and I moved the mouse and put my hands behind my back so I don't touch anything.
Good, thanks. Right, we had another question come in, Brian. Any changes to the recommended server specs?
I have not seen any changes to the recommended server specs. I believe everything should be in our release notes or the server spec page within help.alertus.com, but I have not seen any changes. So you should be good to go to use your current server and just go ahead and upgrade.
Great, thanks, Brian. And with that, I will put in the release notes in the chat, so feel free to explore those in our knowledge base if you'd like. Another thing that I'm going to put in the chat is the link to schedule your server upgrade with the tech support team. So if you are running a version that is older than 5.21.16, or you just want to have that additional security to work with our tech support team, feel free to follow the link that I just put in the chat. You can book a time, and they will reach out to you to set up a session where you can update this together. But hopefully it's just going to run as smoothly as what Brian's showing us right now.
It usually does.
Great.
All right, we are finished there. So I'm going to go ahead and click off of the view README and then click finish. And then let's go back to here, close that down and reopen and go to my server. And sometimes it does take a few minutes to spin up after the upgrade.
This is the part where I always get nervous when I update my system, but I have to continuously remember and remind myself that a few minutes is okay. So
Yeah,
give yourself time and grace here too.
absolutely, absolutely. And there we have it, finally up and running. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in. And there we go. And if we mouse over in the bottom left-hand corner there, we could see that we're on 5.25.7. Now I'm going to want to go ahead and check my device status report to make sure everything is checking in. And go over to reports and then device status. And then, as you can see, my Alertus desktops, I have two of them. One is running down here and the other up in Chrome. This is a test server, so I do add a lot of fun things every now and then, like the Chrome extension, as well as the regular Alertus desktop. However, I am not connected to the alert display, text to speech, or alert beacon, and that is because they are not currently connected to my server. Totally expected for this upgrade. But this has been a successful upgrade. And then if we want, we can go ahead and perform a custom activation for a test. Go to custom activation. I like to choose the system test, so it is not a scary message. I'm going to choose the Alertus desktop and my default. And then I'm going to choose my desktop. And go ahead and send. And there we go. We have a successful upgrade with a successful test.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Brian.
No
The
problem.
last thing I'm going to put in the chat is a link to another KB article that takes you through exactly the same steps that Brian did, along with another video. Of course, this video has been recorded and will be available on the customer portal soon, and via email recording to you as well. Sarah, anything else to add?
I don't think so. I think that is about everything. I guess I can just mention, we mentioned it previously, but the server software is available for download on the customer portal at help.alertus.com. So if you don't have an account there yet, you can reach out to the training team, but the best point of contact would be your Alertus account manager. So you can definitely let them know if you need to get an account set up to access all of those resources.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Sarah. And we hope you have a good rest of your week and weekend. We'll still be here if you have any other questions, but we're going to close out. Thank you so much.
And
Happy
take care.
Friday.